Star Trek Con has been one of the most painful things for me to listen to. I did a review the first week on my main channel, but I'm moving it over here now because, of course, nobody's actually paying attention to Star Trek Con at this point. How many viewers are there? 5,000 people are paying attention to this, which is not very much for a full day for a Star Trek sort of deal. And this is on the main Star Trek channel. Pretty low. And so it is failing pretty quickly. Let's see what the overall views are. Star Trek has 169,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and they got 10,000 views for episode 3, 15 for episode 2, and nearly 100 for episode 1. So you can see the amount of people that tuned out from episode 1 to episode 2. It's about a 25% clip, and losing 33% and then 50% the next week so far. Now, this is only 1 day old, so maybe this will peak back up, and we might get closer to 10K views as their like regular sort of deal. But clearly something's wrong with this, and this is not what people are looking at. Even Stunt Season 3 action, this is just like clips, and talking about clips, has more views than this Khan sort of deal. And so Khan is a audio drama story, if you don't know what it is, about Khan Noonien Singh. And then after he was dropped off on SETI Alpha 5 with his augments and the like on the planet, trying to survive. And then somebody actually goes back and tries to find the records to confirm James T. Kirk's story about it. Pretty interesting framework. I liked the framework all the way around. But then it gets into the whole series, and like there's not much Khan to it. And the Khan is very much wrong and done wrong across this entire deal. So far, we've had this woman who's investigating things on the with the help of Tuvok, trying to find things about Khan for the historical records. They then listen to this, and this is the historical records, and a lot of it's about Marla, the gal who went with Khan, and her like logs and the like, and not really Khan himself. So Khan's kind of in the background of it. He does appear and do some things periodically, and then you get into like what they're doing with Khan. It's like they want to make him a nice leader. In this episode specifically, they say he's the type of leader, they all love him like a child loves parents. It's like he's supposed to be this megalomaniacal, crazy person who really instills fear into people. That's the reason that the Botany Bay existed to begin with. And it's like, okay, this is a real monster, and these are all real monsters out there. That was the whole point. That's why Star Trek banned augments to begin with, because all of these people ended up having a superiority complex and having a problem. And while they do have some superiority complex, they write it from like he's got a softer side and actually just cares. And it's like, what? like stop trying to make villains like relatable and careable and the things like that. But beyond that, the focus is just away from Khan. We have Marla and what she's trying to hide and her own little like quirky woman fears and the like, which is like, oh gosh, it's painful. This is not about Khan. And then there's like a lesbian couple who's like trying to like in vitro fertilize a child. It's like, this is the craziest virtue signaling. Why are you putting this in here? And why would you be doing that kind of thing on like this like planet where you're trying to survive? Like, I mean, that's absurd by itself, right? And so that's what happens in this. In this episode, Marla actually reveals she's pregnant to Khan, and they are they're talking about the creatures on the planet, and you know somebody went crazy from creatures that went into his ear canal or whatever, much like we saw with Chekhov in Wrath of Khan. And that started as a plot last episode and continued on this episode. And Khan went and had his people hunt down the queen and kill it for the whole colony of those creatures to try to get rid of it. At least something was happening in this episode. So it was like a little better than the first three. But the first three already set the stage to a point where it was like already painful to listen to begin with. And these little like sappy emotional moments with Khan where you're supposed to like relate to him still are continuing throughout this episode and actually make for a problem on this. So while episode 4 finally did something and, you know, and had a little bit of an action, had a little bit of a plot development and the like, the whole setting's already screwed up from the first 3 episodes to the point where it's like it's dragged out, it's bogged down at the point, and there's no reason to really care about any of these characters at this juncture. Now, they are setting up that this is going to come and there's going to be an event. SETI Alpha 6 is about to blow up, which we know from lore, and then that's going to change the whole dynamic of this entire thing. And we'll see when that happens. Maybe it'll pick up. Maybe something will happen at that point. But right now, it's like too much Marla, too much lesbian babies, and not enough Khan the tyrant, because he doesn't act like a tyrant whatsoever in this situation. And that's really what we should be getting out of Star Trek here. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.